Benjamin Causse. I'm a VP Business Development and Account Management for Sport Experiences here at Deltatre. And today I will have the pleasure of having a conversation with one of the most promising professionals in the football business. After spending many years at one of the most important football clubs in the world, so FC Barcelona, he recently joined the Confédération Africaine de Football as their new commercial director. So welcome, Ali Aissaoui.
Thank you very much, Ben, for your kind words. A pleasure to be chatting with you today and looking forward to the interview.
Perfect. So in the next 30 minutes or so, we will discuss what is the current status of fan engagement in Africa, how digital can improve the football fan experience, and what is the role of CAF in this process. But first of all, let's start with the basic. Ali, tell me perhaps a little bit more about your role at CAF and how does a day in the office look like for you, especially now?
All right, well, I'm the commercial director at CAF, actually responsible for the implementation and the setup actually of the whole commercial strategy. That includes marketing, digital, commercial, as per my title says, and also TV production. And how a day would look like in the office, well, it's a lot of meetings and calls, but mainly coordinating with the whole team, making sure that we are following the right steps and implementing the strategy that we have in mind.
That's a big remit. So when you started working at CAF, so 4 months ago, I believe, what has been the first impact with your new organization? How did you see it, let's say, coming from the outside?
And I have to say that the 4 initial months were pretty complicated. I had to work from Barcelona at the beginning during 3 months. I've joined actually the offices only a month ago. And to be honest, I think that CAF is already doing good. We are already a major stakeholder in the field of football. And as a matter of fact, we have a lot of partners that are trusting us, international brands such as Visa, Total, Canal+, beIN when we talk about TV broadcasters. So I'd say that CAF is already doing good. However, my job now is to try to implement the best practices, whether it is related to commercial, digital, marketing, and TV, actually all the aspects that I'm overseeing.
Okay, and so now that you have spent some months in your new role, and of course you are in a better position to tell us what is the direction that the organization is taking, where would you like CAF to be in 4 years, for instance?
Again, the idea is really to start implementing the best practices. For example, just to give a couple of examples, to expand our digital strategy, work on monetization, develop our apps. So that's related to digital. I want also in the field of marketing to be able to propose to our partners, the existing one and obviously the future ones, the best possible service. Okay.
And I mean, obviously, CAF is the point of reference for African football. And what is the role the organization is playing in the development of the sports?
And we are, as you may know, the governing body of African football. So, of course, all the football in the continent is relying on us. And what we have to do is lead by example, implement the best practices on all the topics. And if possible, when we can, share the knowledge, share the know-how with all the stakeholders that we have in the continent, such as federations, clubs, etc. And this is, I would say, our main role.
And obviously, it's a big continent, and just looking at the numbers, I mean, I think Africa has 1.3 billion people, and football is the most popular sport in the continent. So, how big is the opportunity for you at CAF?
The opportunity, I'd say, is huge. We have the second most populated continent in the world, the most engaged football fan base, but the fan base is more engaged, I'd say, with all the sports, the international sports. So it's a big opportunity for us to try to drive the audience toward African football. That's a major challenge, but also a major opportunity. We need to do that. We need actually to know the fans. So we are working in that direction, try to know them, have a one-to-one relation with all of our fans, try to provide the best possible content for them, the most relevant, I'd say, and eventually try to monetize it.
Yeah. And based on your previous experience, as mentioned before, so you come obviously from a huge European football club like FC Barcelona. what is the level of maturity of the African markets when it comes to football?
When it comes to following football, and as I said, the continent is the region that is following the most football. We have the most important football fan base in the world. However, when we talk about football business, it's true that the market is still green. We have a lot of things to do. And I was mentioning before that knowing the fans is a priority for us. I think it should be a priority for every stakeholder in the football business, to know the fan, be able to deliver the most relevant content and engage with them. The difference that we have compared to European clubs is that they know their fans. They do analysis of the fans they have, and they're able then to drive, let's say, audience to their platforms, communicate with the fans, and provide with the best content.
Yeah, and obviously, what do you think is going to be the role of digital in these developments? I mean, based on what you have just said, I'm sure it will be quite important. But can you expand on this, perhaps?
It's not that it's important. Actually, it's a must-have. Especially now, we saw it with the last 5 months. We didn't have any competition in the continent, and I said that this was the same for the entire world. The whole sport world stopped, and we had to communicate with our fans, provide them with some content. It was impossible to feed them with live content, so we had to try to find alternatives. And the only alternative that we had, was digital.
Yeah, and again, I assume CAF is a main source of information for African football fan as well, right?
Correct. We are the main source, and it's already the case. We don't have a lot of sources, actually reliable sources, related to the African football in the continent. So it's our role as the governing body of African football to be the main source for our fans, medias, everyone actually. And the challenge here is to drive the audience to our platforms. But that's our objective, to remain, to keep being the main source. And I'm not going to say the only source, because we have to have diversity, but the main source of information, definitely.
And that's a huge responsibility, obviously. So yeah, talking again a little bit further into details about your digital ecosystem. So back in 2019, you hired us at Deltatre to build a website and a mobile app, in fact, for the Africa Cup of Nations. I'd guess that for an organization like yours, having a quick time to market is paramount in order to capitalize on the main event on your calendar. Again, you were not there at that time, but widening a little bit the angle of the question, how important is it for you to quickly respond to fans' need in the football industry, especially on digital platform?
And first of all, I'd like to thank Deltatre for the massive job they did in 2019 in modernizing the ecosystem. It's true, it was the first step actually of the modernization of our digital ecosystem. And that was key for us. And this actually is the pillar of the digital strategy that I'm starting to build, or that I'm trying to build here at CAF. You were saying and asking how important is it to be quick to market, and it's key for us. It's the credibility of the confederation. We need to inform the fans and the audience in real time. Every time something happens in the continent when it's related to football, we have to be the one delivering the information. Okay,
and as you mentioned, so the website for the AFCON was the first step in modernizing the CAF digital ecosystem. Where do you stand today in this digital transformation journey?
A lot of things have been done so far, and the website again was a pillar. But not only that, we also developed a mobile app for the AFCON in 2019. We are trying to do more, and a lot is about to come. We have actually a lot of ideas to develop our ecosystem. The time is now to implement all the ideas that we have. Ideas that we have could be the branded content that we want to offer to our partners, to drive more audience to their platforms as well as ours. Develop an FRM. As I was saying, we still don't know our fans in the continent. So the idea is really to start knowing them, and we want to develop the tools to do that. We also want to be able to monetize the content, either through branded content that I was saying, or through gamifications. So a lot of things are about to come, and stay tuned, because we have a lot of projects in the pipe.
Good. And something you did not really mention is fan engagements. Any let's say movements around this in the coming years?
Yes, but it goes through again through content creation. Today we are working on remodeling all the content that we are providing throughout our platforms. And to do fan engagement and to go beyond just the creation of content, we also want to develop partnerships with the platforms themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Ideas would be to discuss, for example, with Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all the main platform and the major stakeholders, let's say, in the sports industry right now.
Okay. And coming back what you have mentioned regarding the, I mean, knowing the fan and owning the relationship a little bit with the fan, how important is it going to be, let's say, especially regarding the monetization opportunities you are looking to implement in your digital ecosystem?
I mean, the monetization is pretty new for us. This is something that we never explored so far, and we are trying to do that right now. Again, the idea is to implement the best practices, either by developing content or discussing with the platforms. And we are foreseeing two ways of monetizing the content. It's either, as I was saying, with throughout partnerships with platforms, or indirectly via partnerships with sponsors, with providing them with branded content, including them within our digital strategy, etc., etc.
And so far, I assume the sponsorship has probably been so far one of the main monetization opportunity for you at CAF. How is the role of sponsors going to evolve so in your commercial strategy in the future? So branded content, for instance, as you mentioned?
And sponsors are key for us, but we want to see them as partners. When we involve them within our digital ecosystem, there are more partners than sponsors. And yes, they are key in bringing new ideas on the table, and we want to discuss and collaborate with them to see how we can integrate them in the best way within the digital strategy that we're having in mind.
Okay. And on web and on mobile, I assume, and mobile obviously is very important for Africa as well. I mean, I believe we did a little bit of research before this, but Africa has led the world in terms of mobile take-up growth in the past few years. How important is mobile going to be in your commercial strategy as well?
As you said, Ben, in Africa, we have the fastest growing mobile expansion in the world. And I think in the continent, we have more mobile lines than landlines, which is a trend I think that will touch the whole world. So mobile for us is even more important, and people are more and more connected. So we have to be one click away from our fans. Mobile will be key, as it is for many other properties. Mobile will be key in our digital strategy. And to do that, of course, we will work on new technologies, developing apps and bringing content to our fans. We developed, as I was saying, the AFCON app in 2019, but the idea is to expand now the app to all national competitions and develop 2 additional apps for clubs competitions. We want to be able basically to provide content on a regular basis to our fans. And I think mobile is the perfect tool to do that.
And you mentioned technology in general. What will be the role of 5G in increasing this reach and democratizing football in Africa?
But it's definitely the kind of content that you can provide. The faster the connection is, the better the content you can provide. So we will be able to work on more video content, more engaging content. So innovation and 5G is also a tool that we will use a lot, and we will take it into account within the development of our strategy.
And again, coming back to your commercial strategy, I assume you look at international markets. I can imagine France or US, UK as well are being some of the most the main market for CAF at the moment. So what are your expansion plans in terms of reaching a global footprint?
In African football fans, you have them everywhere in the world. So it's true that we have to feed them with content, give them content, give them information. Right now, we are especially focusing on developing what we have, but in the future, we will definitely explore new ways to communicate with our fans worldwide. Developing partnerships with the Asian platforms, for example, is an example.
So among the main allies in your expansion strategies are athletes for sure. And I mean, CAF can rely upon a big numbers of African football players like Didier Drogba, Roger Milla, Samuel Eto'o, Abedi Pelé, and many others. If we look at the last edition of the Ballon d'Or, we had 2 African players in the top 5. So how important is the athlete star power in engaging both local and global fan bases?
And then it is very important for us. I mean, the athletes, they have a huge fan base, they have a huge credibility, and we can say that they are the ambassadors of the African football. So for us, we try to collaborate with them as much as we can. And an example that I can give you is the last campaign that we did with the NGO Speak Up Africa in promoting the message "Stay Safe Africa" to fight against the pandemic. They were very happy to participate, to take part in the operation, in the activation, and they were promoting the strong message that we wanted to share with our fan base.
Perfect. I could go on talking with you about football and CAF strategy for hours, but I guess you are quite busy. So Ali Aissaoui, CAF Commercial Director, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day and talk to you very soon.
Thank you very much, Ben. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Ali.